Okay, good morning, ladies and gents. I hope everyone is well. This is my first day back. I've had a week off, well, majority of a week. So I hope everybody is well. And there was a 80% announced yesterday, so I was due to come back on Monday, but I thought we get some of that 80%, so I picked up a couple of evaluations. I've had a nice week off, so I feel refreshed, and everything is good. So let's have a look how we're doing here. So market is due to open in about 10 minutes UK time. So I've just been looking at these two, this at the moment. I've got a couple of pushes up there. I'm just wondering whether we're going to have a second leg. So I'm here a bit early, actually. I don't usually sit here for about another 5 minutes. I don't usually hook up to about another 5 minutes. So Minas, I think that's right, isn't it? How you doing? Practice trading. Practice trading? Not sure what you mean there, buddy. We've just had, let's have a look. There's only a few in at the moment. There's only about 8 in at the moment. I'm a little bit early. I don't usually hook up for another 5 minutes, so it's still a bit early. We have got some news about in about 40 minutes. So ISM services PMI. So see who hooks up in a minute. That is a bit early. Lead and loser. How you doing, my friend? So it's been, actually, I've been looking at the markets. Actually, I've been having a browse at some other traders, and it has been quite a tough week. It's been quite a tough few months, actually. But I noticed some of the trades over the last couple of days been tough, haven't made a lot of points as well. So let's see how we get on anyway. So I'm trying to focus on, hope you had a rest. I did, matey, yeah. Did some painting at home, just chilled out, relaxed. Just trying to, because the trouble is when you get into a frustrated frame of mind with trading, it almost puts like a little knot in your stomach. And then I can describe it, it's like being in the middle of a bad relationship. The slightest thing sets you off. And then you end up just doing stupid things and stuff like that, which exactly what I was doing. Hey Sam, how you doing, buddy? It's been a tough week. It's been a really tough week. Markets have just been cruel, I got to say, have been brutal. I can't remember since I started a little over 2 years ago them being this bad. It just seems like there's less and less good setups, and the trouble is when you do get a good setup, you sort of feel a bit weird because you question yourself: is this right? Am I missing something? You know what I mean? So it's a bit weird, actually. So we had that 80% off last night. To be honest with you, I didn't think it would be long. I expected it before Monday. Purely and simply because when you got an affiliate code, you notice the difference in the commissions you get from when they have the 50%, the 80%. The 50%, when you get the 80%, I would say the amount of commissions go up tenfold. So if I'm noticing it, Apex are going to notice it. So Apex will not be having nowhere near as many sign-ups with the 50% off as they do with the 80% off. So I think the 80% is going to come more and more. I wouldn't be shocked if the 80% went full time and they just said from now on, this is the price. It's 80% off. That's the way it's going to stay. I wouldn't be shocked because they will sell a lot more evaluations. The only downside, there's an upside and a downside for the trade. The upside is it's cheap. The downside, there's less risk. Hence, you're more likely to take risks when you've not got a lot to lose. It's very easy to just to, when things go south, just to go all in. That's the sort of downside with having cheaper. To be honest with you, but I do as well. I won't pay full price now, period. It's just it's quite a difference, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, when you spend a lot of money on trading, it starts to mount up and you've just got to cut it back at some point. You know what I mean? So yeah, I won't pay it anymore. And I think like I said, I noticed a difference in the affiliate links. I would say it's probably somewhere in the region of 8 or 10 to 1 when it's the 80% compared to when it's the 50%. So, yeah, it is. But you know, that's the trouble when they do so many of these. People are just not going to take the 50% off. So I wouldn't be shocked if in the end, because Apex have got a habit of being quite sort of, what's the word, quite explosive in their generosity, shall we say. I know they changed all the rules, didn't they, maybe 4, 5, 6 months ago, something like that. So I wouldn't be shocked if Apex come out and said, right, 80% across the board forever. I wouldn't be shocked, because I'm noticing a difference, and I notice it as being an affiliate. You clearly notice a difference. So obviously Apex will notice it exactly the same as me, but obviously on a bigger scale. So look, so we've had a couple of short-term trends up. This is obviously another one, and we've had a break. This is possibly a hidden second entry long, but it's obviously getting close to the market opens, and I tend to not like taking them too close to the open. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hey Sam, how you doing? Welcome back. Thank you, mate. Thanks. Sometimes you just need a break. You've got to have a break, especially when when things are going well, you're making money. You're winning trades. It's the best job in the world. And when things go south, it can be really tough. So I've got a couple of valuations here, and I'm using the trade copy, and I have been doing a little bit of study on the psychology this week, and I've been doing a little bit of research on the trade copy, and I think the way to go is the limit orders. The trouble is with a market order, when you drop a market order, sometimes you'll drop a market order and your trade will hit it and kick you straight out. Well, that won't happen with a limit order. So if for some reason the second contract doesn't trigger that second, the other contract is still sat there as a limit order, so the chance of it getting hit is obviously a lot. Is pretty good. So I think limit orders is the way to go from what I can gather. So see how we get on anyway. So market opens. Let me see what happens here. I have to keep an eye on this. But this is looking like a hidden second entry short. I want it to go a little bit further than this. Otherwise, we're going to have to leave this, and obviously it depends on. We're 3.5 minutes away on my chart, away from the market open. So, I saw a magnet. Okay, so let's see what happens anyway. Let's see what happens. See if I can get back on the horse a bit. I just need to get back to taking those safe trades. The issue is lately we've had so much just sideways stuff, so much of this. And same again, look at that, all sort of sideways and in a very small band as well. And the trouble is, I mean, look at this. It's been so much. The trouble is you haven't got a lot of room for maneuver. When we're getting bigger swings, the trades tend to go a bit further, but a trade here, maybe a short trade here, will only go for maybe a few points. And unless you're scalping a point or 2 points, it's going to be tough. So, I mean, look at that yesterday. It's all sideways and really in a small band. So it's these bigger swings we need to catch. Something, something like this, maybe that higher low or that type of a swing, which does make the points. So let's see what happens anyway. See how we go. Oh, SW Blaze, good morning. Happy Friday. Jason, how you doing? Draw your short-term downtrends. We haven't really had any yet, to be fair, apart from this. Everything's been going up. That's the only real one I've put in, really. I tend to not do that because you can see that's a very small one, then a break and a new low. So I'm not going to draw it for 2 bars. You can clearly see that, but this is just likely going to be a pullback. And you can clearly see there's a push down and a break. You don't. I tend to not do them for just the 2s, but yeah, I mean you can clearly see that. you can clearly see we've had a break there. So anything more than that, like this, I would even sort of that 3 bars I did, but just for these, you can visually see that's had a break. But we are getting close to the market, so let's see what happens. Grandpa Roger, how you doing, Roger? So everybody had a good week. It's been a tough week, isn't it? I got to say, if you can manage to survive and keep going when conditions are like this, when things do get back to some amount of normal, it should be a lot easier. It's the old sort of military tactic, isn't it? Train hard, fight easy type thing. So if you can cut your teeth on this type of market when things get back to normal, it should seem a lot easier. It should be quite pleasant actually to trade, I've got to say. Obviously, things have been all over the place. Interest rates have been really high. Obviously, we want interest rates down. I tend to think in the US, interest rates, they'll lock them. I think they're aiming to get them to eventually around about 2%. And the good thing about 2% is then you get nice, just slow, steady growth, which you get these nice, slow, steady trends. And at the moment, see, because markets are all over the place and so volatile, they're bouncing all over the place, and that makes things difficult. So market has just opened, I'm assuming, by how quick that's moving. So short-term trend break, new low. So whether, let's see what happens here. This might be a couple of legs down. Let's have a look at this. Let's put that down to there, and that's about there. Yeah. Need to tweak my losing days. Yeah, see, I noticed you had a big losing day, didn't you? It's amazing how you get sucked into these days, and it messes. Once you get a couple of losses, sometimes it just, you really struggle with your emotions, don't you? And it's really hard. Okay, so we've had 1 leg, 2 legs. Let's have a wee look. What? How you doing? What? Nice to be back. Yeah. Nice to be back again. It was quite nice having a break off. It does make you feel refreshed, I've got to say. I'm probably taking a month or 2 off this time. It is good for you to take a break. I absolutely agree with that. It's good to have a break. I don't think this is a bigger channel at all. Although it does fit. 1 leg, 2 leg, back. Maybe it is, I don't know. We'll see. I'm expecting a new high from here anyway, so it's going to be a higher low if it materializes above the EMA. But we've had 2. That's probably going to go down to there, I'd say. Let's have a look. Yeah, so we've had a couple of legs down there, so whether we'll continue down or not, it's hard to say at the moment. We shall see. Okay, there's the higher low, but it's below the EMA, so it's going to be a failure for me, I'm afraid. It's got to get above there before I'm interested. We have got 2 legs down. I'm expecting a new high from here, but trouble is, things have been that choppy, you just don't know, do you? Just wondering whether this is probably isn't, is it? No. Okay, let's get rid of them. This is the yesterday's high. Yeah, it has been quite brutal lately, I've got to say. I looked at Marco's charts, and a couple of trades wouldn't have even made 2 points. Trouble is, if you're taking trades in, it's been sideways, but in a very small area, and if you're taking trades there, you haven't got a lot of room for manoeuvre, and certainly no room for error. Could say that's short-term trend channel with a break and a new low, but let's just tidy that up a little bit, just shorten that a touch. No, I would say it's more like that personally. So we've had a break from this, and it looks we've had an equal low. It's hard to know whether we're going up or down at the moment. I'd like to think we were going up to make a new high from there. So yeah, just in case anybody doesn't know, we have another 80% off, which goes, I believe, until Monday, I think. So there's a code if you need it. If you want one, it's there. Actually, we've had a match in low, I think. Well, I mean, you could say there's a short-term trend channel, then we've had a break in a new low, but I don't think there's any type of a... No, just let's leave it at that at the moment, I think. PMI at the top of the hour. Yeah, I've got it up here, but that is in about 25 minutes. Come down a tick. There we go. So short-term trend channel break, new low. I'd like to think we would make a higher this. I'm expecting this to push up at some point. There's been sort of 2 legs down there. Just wondering if there's some longs in there. I'm assuming traders are going to be thinking that this is likely to make a new high, so... Yeah, I'm not 100% sure where things are at the moment. We're obviously having sort of an upward bias at the moment, but it's still really early days yet. Okay, possibly. I prefer it to go up, come back, bounce off here, looking bearish with a higher low before I'm interested in going up here. So I'm hoping this triggers below it and then pushes up. There's our trigger below. I think that's likely to push up there. I'm just wondering. Yeah, it's a little bit unsure at the moment. I would like to say that's a lower high. I wouldn't be shocked if there were some shorts in there. So if that breaks above here, I expect us to maybe get up here and make a new low, but a new high. Sorry, but it's just a bit unsure at the moment. Yeah, so there's sort of a trap there. There may have been some going along there thinking they're going to take out stops from this, and it's not going to be a double trap, I think, this. It's triggered and closed them out. Closed down the longs. I wouldn't be shocked if that goes up and takes out them shorts, the short stops. So we've technically made a new low there. So you could argue that this is the first leg down and a break, and that's the second leg down. So it's a bit pie in the sky at the moment. I did draw that short one, but it didn't look quite right. It looked a lot more. It was a bigger trend to me. Yeah, it's been. I don't know. Sometimes 1 minute I think I've got this business figured out, and the next minute it like throws your curveball. It's one of those unusual jobs. 1 minute you feel like you've got it all figured out, and then you feel sort of like a pig on roller skates. You know what I mean? It just doesn't work. It's a funny old business. And I'm starting to believe that this may be more of a 5 to 10 year operation than 2 to 3 maybe. I don't know. People make money. I suppose it depends. But it is the psychological side of it. There's no two ways about it. But the problem is when things go wrong, it sort of really gets inside and eats away at you. So it's really hard to control that. And what I think I may do is when I can get back onto a pay account, what I'm certainly going to do is reduce the risk down to one contract. That should take the sting out of it. And then if I manage to build the accounts up and I do get a rough day or two, then I may consider taking an extra day off or something. But what I'm trying to avoid doing is trading while I've got that knot in my stomach. You all know the feeling. It just eats away at you, and nothing feels like it's going right. And I think the best thing to do in that situation, until you can, learn to deal with it, is to take a break. Much better to take a break than keep trading through it and end up losing. You on about that, Chad? Yeah, I did draw it first, mate, but I made it into a smaller one. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I am aware that it's possibly a short-term trend trying to break new low, but it just, the way we went that sideways a bit and down and sideways again, indicated to me that it was a slightly wider range. Regardless of whether it is or not, we've had a new low from it anyway, so that's played out, whether it's a short-term trend and the played low. But this, to me, you normally take this off the first couple of swings, which is there and there, which indicates to me it's a slightly wider. So I'd still like to make a new high, but obviously the only reason I'm going to do that is if we push up strongly and then come back and bounce off the top nice and bullish. So I'll just keep my options open. And what I'm trying not to do is to get locked into a way of thinking. So sometimes you can be convinced something's going to happen, and it's almost like you got blinkers on and you end up getting trapped, out of your own ignorance, really. Although I like to think we're going to make a new high here. If the market starts to come down, lower highs, then obviously the chance of that happening at the time is hey, Nicholas, how you doing, mate? He's talking about the previous short-term trend. What, that one there? That one. Well, normally you go off the first two swings, don't you? Which in that case would be there, that one, and that one. So that to me looks, if you're going to go like that, see, it just looks like what's it to me? It doesn't look right to me, that. I would say it's that one. Let's have a look. So we had it, was it? I know it was down here, wasn't it? Yeah, see, technically, we've had a breakout. We've already had a new high there, so it depends on whether you want to drag that bit in or not. But usually, you go off the first two swings, don't you? Which would be that one and that one, which would bring that down a bit. Every one I see really does that. I'd like to think we're making a new high from this. And we are starting to go, you know what I mean? But like I say, I'm not getting locked into a decision. But to me, it needs to make a new high. But I'm obviously aware it may not. So let's have a look here. So first entry. Let's see if we can get a failure. Push up. I'd rather come back a bit and then end up pushing up. We got some news in 15 minutes, so I am aware of that. But this is my target. To me, it goes off the first two swings. It includes all that. So for me, we're going to make a new high. So let's have a look here. Possible second entry short. Maybe a trap. I don't know, but yeah, for me, this is coming up here. Ugh, cold coffee. Ugh. No real entry anyway, to be honest with you. Still a bit choppy and a bit that, but okay. Oh, bit of a gap there, look. We're going to need to fill that, I think. That'll push up, I reckon. Maybe. We don't often see that much, do you? I think that'll fill that now. I'm just wondering whether there's going to be some second entry shorts trap there. I wouldn't be shocked if that... I mean, I am expecting a new high anyway, just by the way that's going up, and obviously with this. But if there's going to be any shorts trap there, then once it breaks above there, that'll give it a little bit more momentum anyway. But we'll see. There's no entry anyway, really, to be honest with you. Nothing there. You could have possibly said that was a failure, but it's a bit sideways there, and you know. Once we get above here, we'll get a little push. Enough to get us through this then. I don't think there's any type of a larger. It's a bit early yet, I think. Okay, hopefully there'll be some shorts trapped there, and I'll push above there, take these shorts out, and that'll be our new high, I'm guessing then. Thank you, mate. Bufas, is that how you say your name, Bufas? Bufas, I think so. Thank you. Nice to feel missed. I was hoping we may get a second entry long off here just to take us the rest of the way up. I don't think it's going to come here. I wonder if we will get. I wonder if it will get up here. I wouldn't be shocked if it does. Okay. Righty tighty. Let's just put that there. A little bit of congestion there. Fade to breakout. Possible second entry long. I prefer to get down here. Let's just get an order ready if we do get a setup.
Order submitted.
Just too risky that really. It's only half and half, isn't it?
Order cancelled.
I think it'll make there without getting any further down. I was hoping it would push down a little bit further here and then give us obviously another run up, but I expect to break this and come right up here. I would say I'd like to say that we're going to get this. So there is our new high. Okay, that's what I expected. I don't think there's anything here. Nope. Right. This is my next target, I think. Let me just draw that from there, see if that helps. No, there's nothing there, is there, I think? Actually, if we take it from this low, let's have a look. No, I got to careful to get myself into these places, because sometimes if we can get up to here, which I expect we will, then maybe that might work. a minute. Unfortunately, there was no real entry. I didn't like that. If we'd have had a decent bar, then I would have took that. I knew what was going to happen. I said it was going to push up and we're going to make a new high. I was looking for here. Obviously, if that had been more green, then I would have taken that because I'm expecting a new high. I'm seeing a leg up here, and then I'm thinking another leg up here, which is going to comfortably get up here. I'm all right at reading the charts. My problem is it's when we get stuck in these sideways areas and my patience gets the better of me. That's when you need to shit yourself when you hear my orders. Listen, see if this one, does this get to you, does it?
Order submitted.
Did you hear that, did you? I don't usually take these, I got to say.
Order cancelled.
I can't hear nothing, you guys can.
Order
can you hear
submitted.
Does that play a sound, does it? I can't hear nothing because obviously my main volume's switched off. Is the desktop audio? I don't know what's going on, but
order cancelled.
Yeah, to me, there's one leg, two leg. There's also one leg, two legs there. So let's put that like that. Probably there actually. Yeah, so these two are one of the same, I think. Anyway, so. You can hear it, yeah. Okay. There's the smaller one, there's a bigger one to me, and this is obviously my target. So it's hit the first one anyway, so let's remove that one. There's a bigger one here as well, one leg there, a pullback, bit of correction, and another two pushes up and another one there. Thought I had a random order open. I was vomited. Okay, that one's it as well. So we'll remove that. This is my next one. Are we going to push straight up? Ooh, don't know that one. Spike and channel. There's a target. Yeah, see, if I'd have got in there, once these start going green, the good thing about these, when you get these short-term trend channels, you pretty much know they're going to go up one at a time. Now, if you're sitting, what's obviously likely to happen is we're going to get a break and a new high. So when we get a break, say down here, and your stops here, you can pretty much comfortably sit in because you almost know that it's going to make a new high higher than here. So then you can obviously run it up as tight as you can. So I quite like getting in. If you can get in, see this one here, if you got in on that higher low and it started going like that, I kind of get excited when it goes into them because you pretty much know when we get a break, we make a new high, unfortunately, obviously, that one. The shorter it is, the less of a break we make. Obviously, this one's a little bit wider, which but yeah, so if you're in a trade here, you could possibly sit this one out because it often doesn't come down that far, but hopefully if we can get a setup here, then I'll take that. I'll be quite happy to take it on top of here as well because that's our previous high which is broken, so I'm kind of like the fact that and the EMA is sitting in the same place. So if we can get a second entry off here, I'll be interested in that, and then ride it up to as close to here as I can. Oh God, my hands are freezing for some reason. Probably the nerves, actually. I'm lucid feeling in my hands. It's my mouse hand. I think I'm gripping that mouse that tight. If we can get up here, we may end up getting a nice move upwards. Hopefully, if we can sit on here somewhere, I like that. Although we have made a new high from here, haven't we? Although we've got a short-term trend channel, short spike in a channel. Still like to think we're going higher. Obviously, we got that target up here, haven't we? So I would almost be sure that would be, given the right setup here, there would be some longs pushing that up. I can't see any type of strong push up now. Let's have a look. Oh, now. I might leave that there. I sort of kind of think that's okay in a strange way. See if we can get down here now. Right, this is that news, isn't it? So probably best to sit out this, but I still think we're going to make a new high. Let's just remove this for a minute. Obviously depends on the news, doesn't it? But there is a bit of congestion around here, so it may not get much further below that. That is a second entry long. Depending on where that feels, that's tempting. Depending on where it sits. Yeah, the thing is we've had that news, so we could get it might change, obviously, the dynamics. We may get a push, pull back, and another push. So I'm going to leave going long here at the moment. I'd like to think we get that, but obviously news changes things, so it does look like they're trying to still push it up, but it's just hard to say. I don't want to get trapped going along there where we might get two legs. Another leg down here. It's a bit early yet. Probably going to be some longs there, which is triggered. See, that's what I mean. I don't want to get trapped going long. See, that's a failure, actually. So it looks like we may get that leg that I just mentioned. Yeah, obviously the news has changed things, which is why I left that alone. It was an inside bar anyway, so I wouldn't ordinarily took it even if we had the news, but obviously the news has changed the dynamics, so I like to think, though, depending on what happens, is once we've had this two legs down, then we may get a push up, because there's a lot of congestion around here, see? So it may get down to here, strangely enough, and that's right around where that congestion is, so yeah, so that was a failure, that was. Obviously a trap. The trouble is, you could go for that one, you could take that failure on the engulfing, but obviously you'd expect a new high, but obviously because of the news it's acted, there's a little bit of a couple of downward drop there, so it's risky taking either trade there. See, that measured leg is gone down right to the nearest tick. And there's obviously a lot of congestion there, so let's see what happens here. It's messy, isn't it? It's a messy looking chart. that's worked out. So we've had 2 perfect legs down there. So now maybe we'll get 1 leg up and another leg up and get up here somewhere. Trouble is, I'm not so sure now because obviously we had that bit of news, but okay, another small trend there, I think. Or a couple of pushes down. And a new low there. Messy, isn't it? Very messy. At least we're actually getting some movement and less of this, which is always a good thing. Okay, so another little channel there with a break and a new low. There's a lot of congestion here, which seems to have slowed it in its tracks. Let's see if we do push up now. Yeah, I don't know really what's going on at the moment. Okay, so small trend channel, break, new low, a higher low, which is triggered. So this will tell us whether we're going to move up or we're going to continue down. So I'll be shocked if there isn't some traders in there, because that is sitting right on the bottom of there, and that's a higher low. So I'll be surprised if there isn't any. So if we do go up, great. If not, and we break through these, then we look to come down here somewhere. I don't think there's any. Let me just put that like that. There may be a slightly bigger trend working here. That's a second entry short. Too far from the EMA for me, but I don't know what's happening at the moment. We could be coming down, could be going up, but I'd say with that bar pushing, I just don't know what's going on at the moment. It is a nice second entry short, but does seem like we're coming lower, doesn't it? Bullish only if 410 is retaken. Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm not sure what's going on. See, that's triggered that as that second entry short. Bit too far from the EMA for me. I like it to push it through, and I like the top of the body to hug it underneath, but we'll soon see if it's... But obviously the news seemed to change things, didn't it? So the news might have sent us on a slightly downward path. Does look to me like it's getting a bit bearish, isn't it? We've had a break, a couple of pushes down to a new low, second entry short, which is triggered and may get stopped out. It's got to get through this lot first. It may do, actually. That may be a lower high. I'm guessing there's going to be some longs stops there, plus here. So if that can get below here, and then indeed here, then I think we're coming down a bit further then. It looks like it's going to. Another tick lower, because I'm pretty sure there'll be some short, long stops there. And I think it'll push down quickly if it gets below here. Okay, at least the news is over and done with anyway, so. Okay, market may have other ideas. Not a great deal of shorts in there. I thought there might be a few shorts in there, but it's a little bit too far away from the EMA for me. Let's have a look at that. Oh no, I'm going to say it's a fella, it's not. Okay. Okay. Two legs up there, possible second entry short, but it's not there anyway. It's nothing you could do. It's just floating in it, really. You don't know when it's going higher. I just don't know. You can't do anything at the moment. I did expect it to sort of get higher from here, but who knows? I don't know what's going on at the moment. It's bouncing all over the place, isn't it? It is swinging, but there's just no setup. So where do you go? Are we going up? We're going down? I don't know. It's certainly an upward bias, but there's no direction, is there? There's no direction. We've had a sort of a couple of pushes up, some sideways, a bit of a breakout maybe. I'd like to think we're going to make this measured leg, but who knows? Hopefully, I might get a bounce off the top of this. Interesting. I don't even know if I'd take a second entry long here. This could be a bit of a breakout of this. It's just hard to say, isn't it? I think it adds some risk. If it was two perfect legs and a second entry sitting right on here, then maybe worth the risk. But it is sort of sitting on top of that, the top of that range, so it may not even get down here. What to do? What to do? wonder if when market conditions like this, you could switch on to a slightly different different chart instead of the 2000 tick. I wonder if maybe swap into. I've heard Max saying that. I know. Was it about 12 months ago we had some real volatility, didn't we? I can't remember what happened, but I know Max said switch. Didn't he say switch to the 3000 tick chart for a bit? Do you remember that? Anybody remember doing that? Switching to the 3000 or 4000 tick. It was really volatile. I just wonder if switching to a slightly higher time frame would make all this mess a little bit clearer. I'm not. Apart from that, I've not heard Mac mention at the moment. Obviously, he's mentioning it. You know, it's tough, and you've got to be a bit more of a skilled trader, and you've got to be more patient. You know, to be able to trade these markets lately, trade these conditions lately. I just wonder whether changing maybe up to a 3000 or maybe 5 minutes, or just whether it may make a little bit of this clearer. It's hard to say, isn't it? Risky though, yeah. The trouble is I don't know enough about trading other time frames really. I remember Mac mentioned adjusting it. It may have been 12 months ago. We moved it up to the 3 or 4000 if I remember rightly. So look at that. I've seen about 12 of those once in a row. Right, exactly the same point. 3, 4, 5, 6 there. 12 in a row. Trouble is when you get like that, sometimes you'll get a quick spike up and then it'll come back down a bit. Because I used to have a 1 point scalp, which I used to put an order. If you get a load up in that, you know, a load sitting like that, I used to just put my order 1 tick above and just take a quick point. Because usually it goes up and has a quick spike. Because obviously as it's doing that, it's building up resistance. So if it manages to get through, it usually does it with a little bit of vigor. Let's see if that breaks a point. If it does, quickly flick up. Thing is, I can't see where anybody going short to get trapped there. Possibly here, maybe. That's the only short I'd see that may trap a few. Apart from that, there isn't any. But see if it does spike and hit that point. There's another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Finishing right in the same place. There we go. Oh, yeah, point. See what I mean? Sometimes it does that. I used to have a 1 point. If I saw it doing that, I used to have a 1 point scalp thing, which I used to just put it 1 ticker there and it hit the point really quick. That's why I put that there, just to see if it worked, and it did. Usually goes quick. Well, a lot of the time, I've done it before where I've gone maybe 2 or 3 points, and a lot of the times it does it and doesn't go up like that. It just spikes up quickly and comes down. Okay, so there's the new high of the day. This is still my target at the moment. Definitely looking like a barcode, isn't it, that? Yeah, it's just so hard to trade this, really, isn't it? I can't even see where there's been a good setup yet, to be honest with you. You could have possibly taken... Well, you could have seen that one, and you may have taken... That's the only one that I think I would have taken. That looked okay. Second entry long there, but it's a bit funny looking there, isn't it? But that one there, you know, we had a second entry long, got a little bit sideways there. I'd have probably taken that one, the higher low, because obviously I'd expected a new high, and you'd have got a few points out of that. But apart from that higher low, there's nothing else that really tickles me fancy. Short-term trend channel. There was a second entry long there. That was a possibility. Second entry long, short-term trend channel, that break. Big break. Second entry long. Apart from that, well, obviously they're all sort of pre-market, everything up till about here, so there's been nothing that I can see really. You know, I'm just trying to, okay, there's a measured move. I'm just trying to sit here patiently and just hopefully just wait for a setup. And I'm trying every sort of 5 minutes to monitor my emotions. And if I feel like I'm getting, because I think ultimately, you know, we can go on about all these emotions, but ultimately it's patience. I think for me, the downside or the byproduct of patience is taking a poor trade. The byproduct of a poor trade is emotions kicking in and ended up doing something stupid. So if I can sort of go back and control the source, which is the patience, because I've always said if I take a trade and I believe it to be a genuinely good trade and it fails, I've never really got a problem with that. It's where I take a trade and something in the back of my mind has said it's not good and I've gone ahead and took it. That's where I have the problem. And that's probably the case for many people. So in my earlier days, you know, maybe the first 12 months of my trading, I put my chart every day onto the Facebook group and ask for feedback. And also if, you know, during the day, if I took a trade here and it didn't work, I'd take a quick snapshot of it and post it and say, why didn't it work? But I've been trading long enough now to pretty much know if I take a trade, I can pretty much work out why it failed. So it's just, ultimately, it's the patience, I think. If you can nail the patience, the rest should hopefully fall into place. Because if you've got the patience to sit and wait for a good trade, then obviously, if you're only taking good trades, then you know you're going to have some losses, absolutely. But if you know enough, you know you can read the market and spot a good trade. You should obviously, you know, be moving. Your equity curve should be moving up in the right direction. So ultimately, it's the patience. Hey, Brant, how you doing, mate? I like the higher low off the second entry long. Second entry long. Where are you looking? At the 4,000 level. About here. Are you on about that one? Or this one? You said 4,000 level. Yeah, or is it this? It's that one, isn't it? Yeah. That's the one is that the one I'm assuming? Yeah, I did mention that's probably the only one I took. Second entry long, obviously it's a bit naff there, isn't it? But then when you've had the new low there, you had the push up, you're expecting a new high. That's the only one I can see really. You may have taken that second entry long to get to the highs, but obviously that was early hours of the morning for you guys. Well, in fact, it was yesterday evening for you guys, early hours of the morning for us in the UK. But yeah, that's the only one that I can see. We've had this, nice little trend. Everything's fitting lovely. We've clearly had a good break. 2 legs down, a little bit of sideways, new low, and then obviously a push up strong up above the EMA. Push right down and sat beautifully on it there. And then possibly been a few shorts in there maybe, possibly. But yeah, for me, that was the trade of the day so far. The one in the green channel. That narrows it down, doesn't it? I've got about 6 of them on here. About the 4,000. Well, that's the only one I can see in the green channel. You might have meant something like that, mightn't you? Closest to the PA. Unfortunately, it was on the computer for the early one, yeah. Okay, so that's clearly made the new high, clearly made that measured move, which is what I expected. All these are played out. That's played out. That's played out. So we're in unknown territory now. It's the highest we've been for a few days anyway. I can't see any type of a bigger trend there. To me, it's just a push up sideways. and that's it. Just wondering actually whether he may have something like this. Push up, sideways, push up. Might get some upward movement today, so that's a possibility. Push up there. You might even say there actually. I think that would be probably the politically correct one to take before we've had this proper pullback to the new low for a while now. So that might be right. I don't know. We'll see. Second entry long off here. Just a bit too far from the EMA really. I'm going to take out the stops. Which stops here? They're the only stops here at the moment. So there is. It's almost a little bit rangier, isn't it? So we've had a couple of legs out. Yeah, there may have been. Some may have taken that one. Obviously, the new high. They could say we've broken out of this. I think we're going to go a lot higher personally, but just from what I can see there, push up, sideways, push up again, I think. That's just my thoughts. Whether they come true or not, who knows? Let's get that out of the way. It's a bit. It's in the way a bit. I know Bitcoin had a big dump, didn't it? Dropped $1,000 quick. Has it recovered? No, it hasn't. Yeah, it dropped $1,000, just over $1,000. Which is about 5% off it, literally. It almost looks like it's one sell by the looks of things. That's one massive sell because it's maybe two or three. Trouble is, a lot of the whales do that, don't they? Dump them. Everyone starts panicking and dumps theirs, and the whales buy back in at a cheaper price. There's so much manipulating going on. I wonder whether they are going to get some sort of control. They've been battling to get control over crypto, haven't they? I believe they're stopping some staking as well, haven't they? But the trouble is, you've got the whales manipulating the shit out of the market. That's the trouble is with cryptocurrency. There's so many what they call rug pulls, isn't there? So much money being lost and people being ripped off. They're going to have to get some control over it. Obviously, it's going to take some of the, the big potential profits out of it, but something's going to have to happen. Have you tried trading the NQ? I haven't, mate, actually. I haven't. Doesn't it work different there, doesn't it? The points are different value, aren't they? I'm assuming it just operates the same as the ES, doesn't it? I don't really know. too much about it. I've just traded currency. I did that for 6 months before I started this, but apart from that, I've never traded anything. I'll swing trade a little bit of currency, cryptocurrency now and again. I buy a bit now and again, but I have been lately over the last sort of 6 months, as you know, obviously they're really bottoming out. Like, so possible failed breakout. But we have at the top here, so it's hard to know what's going to happen here. So I'm just going to sit and watch, I think. Moves are much smoother, are they? Yeah, one afternoon for the fun of it. I might just switch over and have a look. I'm assuming from what I gathered from Mac wants you. Do you still trade it's much faster, is it? Do you still trade the 2000 tick chart on it, do you, Jonathan? Or Sam, or well, both of you actually. I'm assuming you do the 2000 tick chart, don't you? I'm assuming it just operates more or less the same, doesn't it? I believe the point systems, the point value is a little bit different, isn't it? What's a point? What's a point in the NQ value-wise? I'm assuming they do a micro version of it as well, I believe, don't they? I trade Renko. Yeah, I got a mate, Marlon, who does that. He started trading some of the Renko charts, and they do look a bit nicer, don't they, than this? A lot less. I mean, some of these look frightening, don't they? But yeah, mate of mine, Marlon, he's just started doing some of the Renko stuff, and he sends me a picture of his chart now and again. Let's see someone do 800 tick chart. Oh, really? No, I don't. There's probably, in fact, there's a ton of stuff. 1 point is $20. Okay. Oh, so quite a bit less than half. So you, yeah. I have multiple TFs. TFS is what's that? Time frame something. I'm not sure what that is, Jonathan. You might have to update me, bud. Thank you a lot. Mainly for shorting. Yeah, I might flick it on actually. When I'm closed down for the day and have a flick over and have a look. It's a shame, really. Things like the ES. The thing I like about things like cryptos and currency, especially, you can trade currency 24 hours a day because you've sort of got the US. You guys are in sort of a lot earlier. You've got the sort of more the European hours. You've got the sort of Asian time, so you can trade currency 24 hours a day. Whereas obviously this is limited. I mean, you can trade 3 hours a day, but it's just like watching paint dry. There's just not a lot of liquidity outside sort of US trading market hours. Whereas things like currency, obviously. There's a lot more money going through. I believe it's 6 or 8 trillion a day typically that's traded on currency, maybe a bit more now. And that's what I like about you can trade it. The difficult thing, excuse me, if you're learning to do this, it's a lot easier for us in the UK because normal market hours are 2:30 in the afternoon, but for you guys, it's your normal working week. So, you know what? I'm a bit luckier over here because I can spend more time trading. I can, start very early morning in a job and be finished around about sort of lunchtime or 2 o'clock and trade this almost full time if you like. But that's one thing I like about currency. You can fit it into any hours you require. So you've got enough time to learn it because the trouble is trading this chart. The only way you really learn is to just sit in front of it hour after hour and learn. But obviously for you US guys, it's your normal working daytime, so it's harder. So Sam, what did you just say there? What else did you say? You trade Renko, less risk and better for scalping. Is it really? I know I was chatting with a mate of mine, Marlon, who started incorporating them. I believe they trade those on the sniper system, don't they? correct me if I'm wrong. I think they do. I've watched a couple of what's its videos. They trade different charts, don't they? They trade one called Simplicity, and I don't quite know how it works with Apex's their own system, but I believe I've seen some of the videos, and I'm pretty sure they use the Renko charts. Does it just average it out? Does it? I'm assuming. Does it? I'm not quite sure what creates the candles. It's almost like, they get like a trend for us and average the bars out. But when you look at it, it certainly looks more predictable. This looks a lot tougher, doesn't it, compared to that? Yeah, I might have a flick over and have just for the fun of it. What I tend to do is what I was advised to do by a guy that I first started trading with is find a strategy that works and stick with it and master it. He told me what a lot of people do, because they take such a long time to master or to get good at. Let's say it probably takes years and years and years and you never master them. But a lot of people, they trade a system, they find it hard and they move on to another one. And that's what I wanted to try and avoid. I wanted to try and stick with the one system and just try and get as good as I can at it. And I know a lot of people tend to go from strategy to strategy, and you never, it's like jack of all trades, master of none, really, isn't it? You never sort of get good at it. You're always going to be learning it. I mean, even things like, people like Mac who've been doing it donkey's years are still going to find it challenging from time to time. But just out of interest, I do like to look at out of interest and find out what other people are doing. I know that Gorilla Trader guy, and he trades for about an hour and a half. I don't know how the hell he manages to get any trades in. During market hours, I can't see any real obvious trades. Since the market's opened, he trades the ES from 2:30. UK time, or 9:30. Can you see anything decent since about here? Not a lot. I mean, I expected a new high from here, so I expected that to push up. But obviously, second entry long, there wasn't much there. But he may have taken that one. He may have just dropped in here somewhere and took a bit of a risk. He may have just jumped in here. He tends to sort of randomly jump in, but in an area where it's likely to go down, or in this area where it's likely to go up. To be fair, some stats might have more of an edge. Oh, some strategies might have more of an edge. Yeah, the trouble is, unless you do a bunch of them, it's hard to really know, isn't it? All you can do is rely on maybe someone who uses them. But I know when I learnt some stuff from Andrew Lockwood, he's been trading 35 years. He started in the London Stock Exchange as a pick trader during the 80s. So he's relatively experienced. So, someone can say this is a good strategy, follow it. But ultimately, how do you know? Until you've experienced it. That's the trouble. You can't just get a strategy, play around with it for the afternoon, and then assess whether it's good or bad. They take years to sort of play around with and master and get good at. So I suppose all you can do is just grab a system from someone that you trust. I trust Mac's system, I got to say, wholeheartedly, because the price action just never seems to get wrong, or very, very rarely. If you go over it, obviously with hindsight, but if you look at genuine second entries in the right place, they just always seem to work. She jumped around the 4,000 level as they established a strong support. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does tend to do that. He'd have probably seen this and seen that and maybe took a lower risk here. Obviously, there's all this sort of thing, so we know there's going to be some support, so it's likely that's going to go up. Obviously, we wait for proper entries, but he'll just randomly go in quite close to where he thinks it's going to go, and then. So I think it's likely he may have jumped in around here, but then he'd have sat through all that and come out of these tops. So he'd have made a nice, I wouldn't be shocked if he made 15 points there. And once it gets so hard, then he'll just, even if you rode it up to here or something, that he'd have got 10 points out of that for sure. He does take risky trades. I've got to say, I did see him take 3 trades in the space of about 20, 30 minutes. The first 2 were losers. He picked bottoms. I think the one he picked was about here, so it wasn't close and it came down. And then he picked another one here, and that one got stuck out, and he took another one. So he lost 3 points twice, and then he made 9 points on his third trade. So if you've got the balls to sit in there while the market moves up 9 points, then you can certainly cover 2 losses relatively easy. The trouble is, you're going to have more losses than obviously losses for us equal frustration and, give me problems. So I had to reset and miss an entry. Down here. Trouble is, there is a lot of support there, so you may think about going long there, but the trouble is, you have just had a second entry short here, so you just never know. If you take some in here, you just don't know where it's going to push down here, have a small breakout. And until you've been doing it years, depends what your risk tolerance is. If you're quite happy, if you can make an average of 8 or 9 points on a trade, you can afford to lose a couple and win the third and still be up. So it obviously depends on your risk to reward ratio. And obviously, if your win rate is 2-3 times what your losses are, then maybe it's worth risking a little bit more, because you would think push down, break new low, lots of support around here. You would think this area here would be the area where it would likely bounce off, and it certainly did. So maybe a small risk down here. Maybe you lose a couple in a row, maybe a couple of points, 3 points maximum, but then you pick up 10. So maybe it's worth it. I suppose what you could do is monitor these areas and maybe mark a theoretical order. Maybe say, okay, if I theoretically took here, would it work? And then, maybe put a little notebook and write down, I lost 2 points that day, 2 points that day, made 9 points. And, if you make notes for a few weeks, you'll be able to work out whether it's worth taking stuff like that. Trouble is, they do require a bit of balls to sit in that. Fortunately, after this pullback, even if you went literally 1 tick above every candle, you'd have got right up to here. So you'd have made sort of 9. Yeah, you'd have made sort of probably 13.5, 14 points, something like that. Also moves to break even at 1-to-1, reduces losses. Yeah, everyone's got their own way of doing it, really. I suppose they all start off like us, but as their experience grows, so you just naturally develop your own techniques, don't you? Some people, even after lots of years of experience, still scalp 1 point. Obviously, I'm assuming a lot of us go for sort of 2 points now, or 2 points maybe above. If you'd taken that lower high there, you'd have got 10 points out of that at least. So the good trade, especially when we're getting these swings, we've had a good strong push up, you expect to get at least to these highs, don't you? And you'd have got, I think even if you'd have took that and just got up to the highs, you'd have got 4 points out of it. Yeah, even if you put it, a tick or two below the highs, you'd have got 4 points. I do like 4 points. I just, that number really works for me. Just wondering whether we have any kind of a bit of a spike in channel there. Oh, why does it do that? What am I doing? Fits along the top edge nice, but not so much the bottom. Could be a bit of a spike in a channel, but I think we're certainly moving up. I expect it maybe to get up here once it gets out of this. We've certainly got an upward bias, there's no argument there anyway, even if you went from these lows. Yeah, just... yeah. Yeah, the trouble is, I see people like Mac and that, they say maybe take this one, and then when the first trigger they bring the stop to break even, and then a candle or two later it takes them out and to end up rocketing up. I think those runners probably work so much better when you leave your stop where it originally was, but obviously they don't want the risk, do they? They count that as just the runner as a bit of a bonus. Trouble is, I see so many times they get 3-4 points or something like that, and it comes down and takes them out, and it just, you get 2, 3 or 4 point moves that come back and take your stop out in a row. You've lost 8 points there. You'd have been better off just scalping the whole lot, I think. But everyone's got their own way of doing it, I suppose. It's a personal thing, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know how I feel about runners. I'm certainly not a fan of bringing it to break even. I see so many times it got 3 or 4 points, then come back down and take them out. It'll do that probably 60-70% of the time, if not more. I think sometimes they're better off. Obviously, the market conditions are always different. So if we're getting quite big swings now. So if you are getting in low down after this, then you're getting a decent swing. So you may get away with it. But I think sometimes you're better off just leaving your stop there and wait for it to have a little bit of a pullback and then push higher and then bring it up. And I think you're up your chances then. It's a shame, really. I remember I used to watch Thomas Wade. He used to take... That's why I like Thomas, because he was one of the first I've seen who posted his losses, and it almost seemed a bit weird to see someone posted the losses, because not many people do. That's one of the things that attracted me to Thomas. I like someone that shows that it's not all roses, roses and chocolate sometimes, that it can be hard. And I'd see some of his going up 4 or 5 points and come down and get stopped out, and I'd see him do 2 in a row, and I'm thinking, you've just lost 10 points. It doesn't make sense. I'm looking at this second entry long here. I like the way... See if this finishes right at the bottom bullish.
Order submitted.
See if it closes really bullish right at the bottom. There's been 2 legs there. And price is being held here. This may be a failed breakout. I'm not a fan of taking these. I've got to be really sure if I take these. Because this is a bit of a range, and you could say this is a failed breakout. It's coming a little bit too further down for my liking. This is.
Order cancelled.
I'm not sure what's going on here. If I'm going to get back to building accounts again, I've got to be a little bit careful about how I do it. Let's see if this helps at all now. It doesn't actually sit too bad. It sits there a bunch of places. Sits there, sits there, sits there. Close to there. I kind of like that. It's not finishing brilliant on the tops. That one it is. But I don't. Yeah, market's been really tough. I think one thing we've got going for us, at least, we're actually moving up a little bit. So I did look at that, but I don't think it's too bad now. See, now I've drawn that, it actually fits quite nice on the bottoms. Starts here, fits here nice, fits here, fits a few places here. So we can get a higher low maybe. No, it's not fitting nice with the highs, is it? I did mention that, but the highs are going higher. That one's higher than that one, that one's higher than that one, that one's higher than that. So we are still moving up, but you can't deny that bottom line. It's fitting lovely on the bottom line. I think ultimately, obviously that's the most important line because that's where it's bouncing, and obviously we take our longs off this area. So if we can get a second entry, a higher low below here, sitting nice on there, then I may. That bottom line does work nice. In fact, probably get a little bit closer. Sits nice, fits lovely, fits nice. Can't deny that. We've had two legs down, one leg up. If this finishes bullish, then I kind of like that. Let me just get an order ready just in case it does. I don't think it's going to.
Order submitted.
It's too bearish at the moment. No.
Order cancelled.
Possible second entry long. That's fitting really nice. I can't argue with that. That's fitting pretty nice. Fitting nice, touching. The bottom line certainly working nice. Ultimately, let me just let's put in the middle line. We haven't done that. Let's see if this ends up above here bullish. It is going up, but it's doing it in a section of up, sideways, so I do expect it to go up. Excuse me a second, I've just got a quick call I've got to take. Sorry about that. Start some work tomorrow, that's all. It's going to be a failure for us if we can get something. So there's our first entry. We need a failure somewhere, preferably finishing above the EMA. No real entry. I'm guessing there's probably going to be some shorts trapped there. Oh, failed second entry long there. New high. Try to go one, try to failed second entry long. See if that triggers. Yeah, I think this is probably an area somewhere down here that the gorilla guy would likely jump in, I reckon, because he's expecting it to bounce off here and maybe bring his stop down here a touch. Does look like it's trying to push up. At the moment, we've only got a first entry. But it is fitting nice off this line, I've got to say. They're all... let's have a look. I mean, in fact, you may take it from that one, or probably better, because you could get that one a little bit closer. Oh, piss off. Let's have a look. You could fit that a bit closer. Oh, yeah, like that. That's nice. Right, let's take it off there. The bottom of this. I like that. Obviously, top's not brilliant, but you can't deny where it's finishing there beautifully. We may get a failure here. Hopefully, that's a second entry short that would trigger and give us a failure. Let's see if we're lucky. Second entry short, I bet there's going to be some shorts jumping in that. And if they are, that's where my order's going to go. I like that. Second entry short. Let's see if that triggers.
Order submitted.
Fact.
Order cancelled.
It needs to be a market order, doesn't it? Buy stop limit.
Order submitted.
That's where it needs to be. Let's see if it does go up and trigger us. Yeah, it's starting to come down here, see, so I'm almost sure there's going to... I mean, it may come tanking down, but that's the beauty about these traps. It doesn't matter if it goes down, you're not going to lose anything, but if it does go up, there's a second entry short. If it does go up and breaks above there, then I figure that for... I much prefer to take it at the top, though, rather than bullish here. I'm still leaving that there, I think. It may come tanking down, you just don't know, do you? But we may get a failure here yet.
Order cancelled.
Got to be aware, though, it is getting very choppy. Oh, that's looking so tempting.
Order submitted.
No.
Order cancelled. Order submitted.
It is, every low is getting higher. Let's see if this ends up really bullish. It's going to have to be super bullish to get me in. No, that's no good.
Order cancelled.
I'm so tempted to put a long above here, though.
Order submitted. Order cancelled.
Because my stop's going to have to come down here, and that is too big of a gap there. I'm just going to have to let this go by unless we get a setup. It's just not just that, it is getting very choppy, isn't it? And when it does go sideways, as much as it's looking like it's going up beautifully, you just don't know, do you? See, that failure has triggered. Yeah, see, this is where the gorilla guy, if that pulled back a bit, the gorilla guy jump in here. I think when it gets above there, we'll get a nice push, but it's just... it's tempting to jump in, isn't it? But I've really got to try and stop doing that because you just don't know, do you? I mean, if I'd had a nice big fat $10,000, I may risk a point just for, risk one contract just for the interest. It clearly looks to me like it's going to push up. If it gets above here, I'm pretty sure there'll be some shorts trapped there. And then if it gets above there, then I think it's off to the races, as the big man says. I always wanted to say that. Gorilla stays out of this, does he? What's he like? Have you seen him actually live? I asked him if I could look at his if I could have a free day pass, and he went, "No, there's plenty of his videos." But the trouble is, videos can be doctored, can't they? He might just put videos of all his wins. I want to see how long he trades for, and I want to see how much, whether he's genuinely up. It's very easy when you don't see someone live. I want to see someone live if I'm going to pay to see him. I'm tempted to put my order above there.
Order submitted.
I'm so tempted. No, I can't do it, can I? It's not a proper setup because my order... I don't think you can, Jason. You could, because I inquired about that and he said it's run out. You can't do it anymore. So you can't at the moment. Hopefully. If we can get a second entry long off here. That is a failure, which is triggered, but I prefer a failure trigger up here somewhere. Yeah, it is. That's why I'm leaving it, mate. I'm waiting for maybe a second entry long. I mean, this information here is telling me we're moving up. If we can get above here, but I'd rather have a second entry. No, it's just...
Order cancelled.
Second entry long, but it's an inside bar. It's no good, isn't it? How are you? Oh, perhaps I need to look into it again. Because I'd like to have him just on a separate screen above me head just to see what he's doing, just out of curiosity. I'd certainly like to learn more about going for more points. See, I think when the market gets above this, then we should at least get to the top there. I'm still expecting a new high, and also I think it's likely at some point throughout the day we may get up here. It looks like it's going to be one of those moving upward days today. I'm not convinced they're exactly right. Yeah, they are. And a lead and loser, how many times have I done this before, been convinced, and I'm fighting for a place to go long, and all of a sudden market goes like that and tanks. So I'm trying to, I did it the other day, convinced we were coming down and having a new low, and I was taking every option I could to find a low. And what happened? As I was looking for the low, market was actually going up. But I'd blinded myself by the fact that, and what happened is we'd had a small break in a new low. Mac has a spike in channel, does he? That's what I've got at the moment, isn't it? Or I did have. The trouble is, I had mine about here initially, and then brought that down to about there. But it doesn't really help anything as such, does it? In fact, let me just have a quick look. Has he put a video on, has he? He's put his mid-morning chart on. Oh, bollocks. Excuse me. A quick glimpse at Mac's chart. Ooh, I like that. I kind of like that. Oh, I wonder if that's going to be the one. Still a bit risky, isn't it? I'm guessing that will be the one. If we can get a higher low off there, then that may interest me. Yeah, he has, hasn't he? Okay, let me just draw it like Max. I like what he's done there. So the tops are fitting much nicer, aren't they? Okay, so I'll tell you what, let's bring that down like that and take that up to the tops. Yeah, that's what he's done. That's about right, isn't it, I think? Up a bit more. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, max drawn is about like that. Okay. Gotta say I'm not a fan of that, but guess he knows more than me. Okay, let's leave it like that then. That's the best we got, I suppose. I'm not a massive fan of that. I gotta say, really, it's only sort of really touching here, isn't it? He's got his about here, I think. I don't know. It doesn't look fantastic, I've got to say. Yeah, it's. I'm not a fan of it because it's. I mean, that's one hell of a spike in channel, isn't it? Okay, let's leave it there, see what happens anyway. At least I've got someone to blame. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break. I'm going to make myself a cup of tea. And I'll be back with you in 5 minutes. Make sure no trades happen without me. Okay. Okay. What's going on then? I forgot about Mac doing the mid morning chart. To be honest with you, I should have a look actually. It might give you a little heads up. Certainly moving up in some sort of fashion. Up a bit sideways, up a bit sideways. So I do expect another push up at some point. Hey mate, how you doing? Awesome. That's the weather like there, mate. It's 6 degrees here. Assuming it's warm where you are. $70. That's pretty warm, isn't it? Warmish, I think, isn't it? Possible second entry long there. It's just the trouble is you're going along right in the middle of there. It's just too risky, isn't it? We could have one leg down, another leg down. So nothing you can do really. I've really got to avoid areas like this. You just get chopped to shit, especially in the middle. I mean, we seem to be having. We look like we got a leg up there. One leg up, two legs up. We could get the same. I mean, it might bounce, but the word is might. We don't want mites, do we? And it's congested as well. Risky. Sorry about this. I'll just. There we go. Yeah, trouble is taking a failure here. You're literally EMA's flat. You're taking it right there. It's just, I don't know. It's risky. Nothing's good there. It's clearly going congested, isn't it? It just could go up or could go down. There's just nothing you can do. Seem to be getting so much of this lately, and it is just risky. I've done this before. Gone all second entry long. I've gone there. It's gone up a couple of ticks and gone down at the bottom. So I've really got to buck up my ideas if I want to do this for a living, because I need to sort out my discipline and trade choice. My trade choice really has to jump out at me. Now, the only one I can see really worth trading was that one. Clearly got a nice trend running up here. We've had two legs back, two nice measured legs. We've had another absolute step back. This one we've pushed up nice and strongly through the EMA, had a nice little pullback, nice and bullish, sitting there, lower high, sort of higher low. That's a good one for me. There also may be some shorts trapped there, which would help, and then I expect to get past this. So that was the only type of trade that I would just jump on, because that to me just screams out, take me. You know what I mean? Obviously, if I'd have had this marked a little bit earlier, then I may have even considered possibly this one. It's hard to say at the moment. But for me, that's the trade of the day so far. High or low. Yes, trader, how you doing, mate? Yeah, overall bias is definitely bullish at the moment, isn't it? There's no arguments there. That's all we've done so far, isn't it? What did we do? Still, I can't. Well, obviously didn't trade yesterday. We had another bullish day yesterday. We definitely had a bullish day yesterday. Then we had a sort of range, but sort of downwards. In fact, we pretty much closed just a little bit lower than we opened, so not. But this is not too bad to trade this. It's a lot easier, a lot more straightforward, because you can identify these. But when it's just like this, I mean, there's obviously second entries there and failures there, but because it's just going like this sideways, it's unpredictable. That for me was a nice trend break, new low, which is why you may have even jumped on that. But yeah, it's just so unpredictable, this. I think really you got getting in the middle there. You just as much chance tossing a coin, really. I'd say it's likely if we can get out the top of here. I expect it to push up a little bit, pop back, retest this top, and then move up. There's one leg up there. One would think there would be another leg up there. One leg down, a little bit of sideways, one push up, another push up. In fact, if this If this ends up bearish and triggers, and that ticks above it. Do any of you guys have two charts open? The NQ, can you do that? I suppose you can, can't you? You can have the NQ and the ES open. Any of you guys have both open and maybe trade both? Can you do that? I suppose the good thing is, if you haven't got a setup here, you may have a setup on another chart. Yeah, I've just got. I'm just loading up the NQ now on another little small screen. You guys who trade the NQ, what have you? What time frame are you trading it? I've just put another small screen on, screen on just to have a look. It's on the 2000 tick chart at the moment. So what are you guys? What do you guys trade time frame on it? Just out of interest. Yeah, lead, yeah, you're done, aren't you, mate? Yeah, have a good one, lead loser. Have a good one. Yeah, I've just opened this quickly, just out of interest, just to see how it differs. The NQ. What do you guys use for it? Sam Renko for 10 minutes. 10 minutes and 2.5. Okay, just out of interest, just to see. I'm assuming really you can trade one just like the other. 10 minutes. Yeah. Oh, right. Okay. I suppose the one good thing about having that up is if you can't find a setup on one, you might find it on the other. 10-minute chart. Points a lot more, aren't they? What else did you say? 2,500. Is that 2,500 tick chart? Ooh, big dump. So it's following that the midline, isn't it? Short-term trend channel break, new low. Trouble is, for me, the market's going up. I couldn't bring myself into taking a short there. Although it looks like it may come down. Fed speech, is there? Not that I know of. Nothing on my chart. Should be. There is a lower high there, which is a break. Trouble is, doesn't like the type of trade we want to go short. Thing is, for me, prices are moving up at the moment, although they're getting a little bit sideways. For me, it seems to be following this mid-line, so that'd be risky for me. Although you could say it's dropped below the midline, so then maybe we may come down at the bottom, but it's just risky. Going short right in the middle of all that shite. Okay, short-term trend channel break, new low. I wouldn't expect it to go much lower than that, but yeah, it's just so much of this. It's just safest bet really is just to leave that alone, isn't it? I mean, if you ended up getting 3 bars like this, maybe one here, and this one maybe sitting on top of there, then maybe you might want to take that one, but it's just got messed up trading this stuff before. It just doesn't work, does it? Range is the priority for me. Trouble is, you just can't trade. Just can't trade that safely, really, can you? Finally passed my eval. Well done, mate. Well done, Sam. Good on you, mate. So PA Monday for you, I'm guessing, unless it's. I'm assuming when you say you passed it, you've hit the actual amount and the amount of trading days as well. I'm assuming you mean that, don't you? In which case, it'll be Monday. It's quite nice to start it on the beginning of the week. like watching paint dry, isn't it? No argument there. Just wondering if anyone will have shorted that or that. We may actually finally get a proper breakout now. Okay, that's taken out any shorts that may have been in there. Measured move. Done. 2 legs up. Let's get rid of that. Now, what are we going to do now? God, this is painful, isn't it, this? Okay, so nice measured move. Right to the nearest tick. What we're going to come down now and retest this top, maybe. Maybe. I don't think there's any type of a sort of a trend there at all, is there? Not convinced. See where it comes down here. Not a fan of drawing like that. It just looks a bit out of place. Push up sideways. So, just wondering whether we're going to get a nice strong push up. Up here then. There may be a little channel there. In that case, that would be more like that. See if I can hit the bullseye. Stay. For 50 points. And a naked lady for the night. Go on, get up there. Get up there, bitch. Go on, get up there. I'll actually sit in the middle. Have to make it bigger. If that triggers, then it might push up then. Well, just trouble is, do you want to buy here? It's not the most attractive place to buy, is it? Push up sideways, push up sideways. I'm just wondering whether we're going to get like a... let's have a look. No. Well, we're going to get something like that. This is from the bottom to the top of that one. This is from the... I wonder... Let's come down here. Come on. Give us a second entry long. Does make you wonder whether buyers wait for it to get down here at the moment, because it really bloody does. As soon as it does, it rockets off without a setup. Come on. You just can't take one here, can you? It's just way too risky. Trouble is, if you leave it, it rockets up from there. As soon as you take it, stops you out. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. Now that's it. Come down a bit. Come on, a bit more. Okay. See if I identify a nice couple of legs. Come on, come on, come on. Come to Daddy. Come to Lancy. Come on, come down to here and then close. Come on. Come on. Unfortunately for me, Jonathan, I'm a bit of a non-believer. Well, I'm more on the fence, really, I am. I'm more got to see it before I believe it, unfortunately. I wish I was a bit more religious, but... yeah, I'm a bit on the fence. I'm going to have to wait and see, I think. Come on, another tick below. That's it. That's what I wanted. Now get down a bit more. Come on. One leg, two leg. Just come down to here. Or a bit closer. In fact, I remember once I stuck about £500 into a micro, and I took a trade just after. Was it just after the market opened? I just took one contract, I think, and I just took me take profit a mile away, and I had about an hour and a half sleep. And then I got up and had to look, and it had gone up by about $165, which obviously for one contract was quite a bit. So I just did it out of interest. I was only risking about $5 or something. I thought I'd just give it a go. Yeah, you and me both, mate. But the trouble is, it's got to come back a little bit more closer to there. The trouble is, guaranteed if you took it here, it'd tick above you, come down, sit here beautifully, and then rock it up. So you just, there's no setup there anyway. That needs to come below this, and ideally it needs to come closer to this. Unfortunately, a lot of the time it does that. It just doesn't get back. It might do, but it's not over yet. But I prefer it to at least touch that line. Ideally, I like it to sit below it or break below it, and then the bottom of the body just to sit nicely on top of that line. We may get lucky, you never know. Trouble is also we are close to the top of the range, which adds a little bit more risk to it. There's not much further it can go. Technically, I do think it's going to come out here, but whether it'll do it yet, or whether it'll sort of do it a little bit further up here, it's hard to say. Might go up to here or something. Can't see it pushing straight up to there without a little bit of a couple of pullbacks first, so it does make it a little bit more risky, which is why I think if you're going to take a long there, it's got to come right back here in the bar and the body sit here, so at least you've got maybe a few points to get out before the highs. We may get it yet. These bulls are dumb. You know, through all my stupidity and stupid moves I've made over the last couple of years, one thing has come to mind. You just have to wait for a proper setup and you have to follow the rules. as much as I know that, I'm still going to take stupid trades from time to time, but it just does not work. And if it means you sit here for 3 hours and don't have a trade, then so be it. It just has to be. You can't force the market to give you something that isn't there, because as soon as you start forcing, trying to squeeze the market, it just shits on you. There's just no other way apart from doing it properly. It just doesn't work. I mean, you could have took that one. It wasn't the best setup. It's far from the EMA. You just don't know. Probably make you a point or two, but it's just too risky, isn't it, really? Because what it could do and what it may do is go a little bit, because we're getting to the top of the ranges, there's not much more room to go, and it's got to correct at some point, so it possibly could end up doing that. So if you've got long here, it may go up and down here a bunch of times first, where you're trapped in the trade with your arse twitching like a good and only just a tick below and rocking off. My Jesus, strategies work. You never know. Well, if you're a believer, if you believe and you pray and you believe in God and you believe if you make a prayer about something, he'll do something for you, then maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll work. You never know. Do you know the way I see it? People say pray about this, and I see all the death and destruction, all the suffering in the world. And I hear people say, wherever it is, I pray for this, I pray for that. Now, if I spent a lot of my time praying for this and nothing ever happened, it's like asking your best mate for help, isn't it? You phone your friend up and say, look, can you help me out here? Can you do me a favour? Can you help me out? And if the guy says no every time you phone him, sooner or later he's not going to be your best mate, isn't he? So that's the question I have. If you prayed and asked him for something and he handed it out on a plate, then I'd say it'd probably be worth hooking up with him. But I don't know. I just think if you keep asking for someone and all he does is shits on you and doesn't do anything, I don't know. I like to think there's something else, but I'm more of I want to see it. I just see so much suffering out there, and I don't know. Maybe we're not supposed to know. Who knows? But I know I want to see something. I want to see something. I believe in Santa because I saw a white footprint outside my fireplace once, so that's proof enough for me. I don't know. As I'm getting older, maybe I'm starting to question it or think about it a bit more. I suppose as we get older, we naturally do. But I don't know. Who knows? Maybe there is something. We'll all find out one day, won't we? Okay, we're coming to the top of this channel now, so would I want to be buying here? Probably not. It's not the most attractive area to buy, is it? Right at the very top. So we've had this channel, we've had a break and a new high. That channel is played out. I would expect it may keep going up, or it may come down and retest the top, or retest this, or move back towards the middle. It could do a bunch of stuff now. Well, there you go then. Settled, I'm a believer. So I could do myself a test, couldn't I? I could close my eyes and hit the buy and the sell button and go for 2 points. And if I win, I'm a believer. If I don't, I'm not. In fact, one would argue a lot of my trading's been based on closing my eyes and hitting the buy or the sell button. I don't know. Jonathan, do you trade the NQ and the ES at the same time, or just the NQ? I suppose you could technically trade the two, couldn't you? At least you got double the chance of finding a trade if you got two separate charts. Two charts, twice the chance of getting a trade. No reason why you couldn't trade two, is there? I suppose. Trade half a dozen different currencies at the same time. Right, I expect it to come down a bit here. Whether it comes to here, or whether it comes to here, or whether it comes down a bit. I know that's right at the top of that channel, so not the most exciting place to buy. I have positions open. So, oh, you do? Okay. Okay. What was it you said you traded? Was it 2,500 tick? Was it? What chart do you trade on the NQ? What time frame do you trade on the NQ? I suppose if you've got not much reason, no. I suppose if you've got two charts on the go, at least, you know, there's a chance of getting something on either one. There's no reason why you can't trade the same two, is there? Clearly. Trouble is, when you have got just the one, you know, you just trade in the one package. You've only got to go, you know, whereas when I was trading currency, although currency was a ball ache, I found, because you had multiple charts, multiple time frames, multiple currency pairs, you just had little boxes everywhere. It was just a headache sometimes. Well, we've been trading 3 hours, no trade. Well, I suppose sometimes you've got to accept that that may happen. And if you can sit here for 3 hours and not trade, that's something, I suppose. I have both range charts and time charts open. What time frame was it? The 2,500 tick? Did you say? I can't remember. What time frame you trading? Whether it's tick or minutes. One to 5 minute charts, I got you. Better 3 hours without trade and spray and pray tactics. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Yeah. I think if you can sit here for 3 hours and not take a trade because there's been no trade, you've done your job, haven't you? You've done your job correctly. You have to be aware that I suppose there's a trade that some days you may not get something. And then, who knows, I don't know, Monday we may get 3 in the first hour. You just don't know, do you? I suppose you've got to take them when they're there and just sit patiently when they're not. At least we've had some movement. We've had this horrible bit of congestion. But, you know, from here, at least we've had some movements and some opportunities. Obviously, yesterday was complete. Was it yesterday or the day before? Was a completely different ballgame. We had so much of this sideways shit, and it's so much easier to get trapped and end up being stuck in. At least we've had, you know, some form of a nice trend. So at least we've got a general direction to trade. Okay, short-term trend channel break, new low. And what I've got to be aware as well is taking trades in areas like this. It's okay taking a trade down here when you've got plenty of movement, because I tend to go for the 4-point mark. But obviously taking trades at the bottom of here, you've got to be a little bit careful because you've not got much room room for error. I mean, literally between there, top and bottom, you've got about 2.25 points, which is, it's not even really worth a trade, is it? It's not worth the risk. Okay, short-term trend break, new low. Let's see what happens here. Might be an area to start moving back up a little bit. Let's see the power. I'm still on to this. Jesus, long. It might be the biggest trade of your life. You never know. You'll be a real believer, won't you? If this one works, if it carries on all day. And literally, you imagine, literally 10 seconds before the chart ends, it finishes on the highest tick possible for the day. Wow, you're going to be a big believer then. You do start to get that feeling, don't you? You're going to get nothing. Mind you, it's all part of it. It's just something I've got to get in my head. Jesus, long. Start a coaching shower, yeah. Okay, short-term trend channel break, new low. You might draw that whole thing in one go, but to me, it's just the way it's. Well, I don't know, maybe. Trade for, Jesus. You could start a new index called the Almighty, couldn't you? I trade the Nasdaq, the ES, and the Almighty. Yeah, you could say that is like that, which you could argue with that. We've had a new low. You could call that possibly hidden second entry long. Trouble is, not much distance to go, really. It's risky in my opinion. It's just not worth it this time of the day. The last thing, at least if you take a loss earlier in the day, you've got a bit, maybe time to wait for another one or recover it, but you don't want to take your worst trade. If you're going to take a riskier trade, you want to take it early in the day, really, not last thing, don't you? In fact, let's just put that back there like that and call this a break. Certainly not thinking of taking that anyway. Well, I think another 10 minutes. Let's give it 3.25 hours. I don't suppose there's much time. The trouble is, the longer you naturally your patience go. I'm just trying to be aware of my emotions as I'm trading. And at the moment, my emotions are telling me I want to go to sleep. So I'm certainly not in a rush. I don't know. Sometimes you feel like you're getting somewhere, don't you? You feel nice and calm. You're quite happy, and then all of a sudden, those feelings go from really good to really negative. Something just goes wrong. Excuse me. Okay, trend channel, short-term trend channel break, new low. Well, break anyway. Certainly only really looking for longs anyway. Trouble is, if that breaks below and sits bullish, you've got three sort of in a line there, and the EMA's flat, so it's just, you just don't know, do you? We might get one leg down, might get a break, and we may come down to this midline. There's always an option, isn't it? So it's just hard to say. Yeah, my bias is sideways at the moment, I think. Okay, sorry about that interruption. Okay, yeah, so there's definitely our break. Push down, break. In fact, possible failure. But would you really want to be going short there? Not me. God, it's so slow, isn't it? I've got to say. Oh, there we go. A little bit of movement. Will that be the one? Possibly. We haven't had a new low though, so risky. time is it? Do another 5 minutes and I think that's it. 3¼ hours is enough when you've not done anything. I don't mind. I'm quite happy I haven't done anything. Means I've got some patience today, finally. Sometimes you'll get a couple of lovely entries nice and quick. Other days, you'll sit there for 3 hours and be bored to death. Ron, how you doing, Ron? Not decent setup all day. No, there isn't really much, is there? Why have you deleted your message? Have you made a spelling mistake, Ron? I won't judge you, mate. Don't worry. Nah, there hasn't been anything really. There was one pre-market. Apart from that, there hasn't been anything really. There hasn't really been anything close to decent, I think. And I've just got to wait for those. No decent setup. That's better. Word better, Ron. Nicely spelled. Good grammar. Very good. You forgot the full stop at the end. But I won't hold that against you. No. Have you been with a gorilla today, have you? Ron? I'm pretty sure. Did I message you the other day? I just wanted to see how you're getting on with him. I'm pretty sure you signed up to him. How are you getting on with him? I was considering paying for just a month and just putting a chart, next to mine out the way and just keeping an eye on what he was doing. Just out of curiosity, really. I mean, he has got videos on there, but I like to see somebody trade live, really, because obviously videos, you can edit them. And you can, add some decent ones. I'm feeling like a bit of a believer right now. I really. We've got nothing really, have we? I mean, we pretty much know it's going up for a bit, don't we, at the moment? But unless it comes back to the EMA and gives us an option, we just might as well just close our eyes in it and hope. What's his channel called? Gorilla Price Action. I think it's $99, I think, per month to watch him trade. I think the only thing is he loses a fair amount as well because he takes risky trades. But when he does win a trade, he'll sit and he'll take something down here and he'll let it run up here. I don't think he takes anything less than 6 points. So you can afford to take a lot more losers if you're picking up a lot more points. I think his attitude to it, it's not about how many times you win or lose, it's about how many points you make when you win. So I think that's how he tends to look at things. But he did have something on one of his videos where there was a link to sign up to watch it free, but I couldn't get onto it, and I emailed him why couldn't I get onto the link for the free trial for a week, and he said that free trial was it wasn't on at the moment, it was out of date. So I don't quite know what's going on. I don't know why he doesn't give people a free day pass just to have a look, because people see he does well out there and think you can learn something, even make a bit of money out of it. And I think you'll get a lot more people. I'd certainly do it myself. I mean, if it was really worthwhile and you can make some decent money, I'd say ditch me and go with him. I mean, I don't do this to make money off YouTube. I don't do this to make money off, people watching me. I do it purely and simply just to give me a bit of a platform to be, sort of accountable and just to mix with other traders with the same interest. Just tends to make me a little bit more stable. If I got people watching, you're less likely to do something stupid. I added to the Jesus long. You added a couple of pilgrims and a disciple, did you? To go a little bit higher. Trouble is, it's getting to that risky area, isn't it? You just don't want to go long here, really, do you? Not much room to the highs. Not much room to the tops of this channel. That's not to say we can't break out of it, but if you look at it, it's held us all the way up and here, so there's no indication that we're necessarily going to push a lot higher. We could push up maybe here, but at some point when we get right to the top a couple of times, let's see this, we've got there once, we've got there twice, straight back down, a load of sideways before we have another push up, so we may get up to here again before we have another push down to at least the middle. You had an apostle or two. You could even have points, couldn't you? Like 3 points would be an apostle. 2 points would be, I don't know, something else. You could have your own little code, couldn't you? Call it the Jesus strategy. Or the God long or something like that. Okay, so we haven't made a new long, so here we go. Second entry short, that is. I'd expect to make a new low here. Trouble is, we're clearly going up, so that's clearly counter trend trading, and it's just risky. Excuse me a sec. Okay. Short-term trend channel break. Not quite. I'd like a new low and then maybe a higher low to go a bit higher. Trouble is, the closer we get to this, the more times, the more chance we've got of coming back a bit and correcting, because obviously we're running out of room here. Same here, we went up once, went up again, came back. Went up once, went up another couple of times, second time up here, and then we corrected a bit. So at some point, in fact, this may even be it, really. We may even be going sideways here, so that might get us back across, really, before we can start going up again. That looks all right, actually. Yeah, okay. That's more like it. I'd expect now to go sideways for a bit. I would have said so. We're running out of area up here, which is going to take us some time to get back. So we've probably got another load of this shit. So I'm probably going to, on that note, I'm probably going to knock it on the head. I'm not a fan of picking tops or bottoms, especially when we've got an area from top to bottom as feeble as that. I mean, literally, this 3 and 3/4 points if you're lucky there. I tend to go for at least 3.5. So I can't. It's just not worth me taking any trades there, because to me it looks like we're going to move back here, at least to get back to this midline before we push up again. Because obviously we're going to be. You want to get more buyers in, really. Buyers ain't going to be thinking about buying here because right at the top they want to get more into the channel, really. Certainly maybe the midline. I think most of this has been around the midline. That's above the midline, that's below the midline. Obviously we've got these swings above and below them, but the midline's definitely playing a part, so I think it's likely we're going to, excuse me, spend a bit of time going sideways, which is going to keep the clock ticking. So, unfortunately, there's a break in new low, but I'm just not risking taking a short there, because we could go sideways, or we could go sideways with a little bit of a down bit, which would get us to this midline a bit quicker. So taking a long here is just risky, I think, and obviously taking shorts is just counter trend trade. I think. Compare me or who I got. Yeah, I've never read the Bible. I've seen a bunch of them once in a hotel, but I've never read them. It doesn't make much sense to me. I wish they'd write them so you could understand them. Even if the odd time I go to church now and sing hymns, they just don't make sense, do they? I don't know why they don't get someone like Eminem to pimp up some of these hymns and to make them a little bit more popular. I've got to say, in the UK, I honestly believe going to church is almost going out of fashion, because I know nobody who goes to church. But when I was younger, lots more people did. I mean, my stepfather was in the army, so we always went to church on a Sunday and then went to the mess for Sunday lunch and, you know, a couple of beers or a couple of Cokes for the kids. But I don't know nobody who goes to church now. And every time I have gone for one reason or another, it's been full of old people. And it's not the ideal place that attracts kids, I don't think, or youngsters. And obviously you need to get the youngsters. Obviously you guys in the US are a lot more religious than us over here, but unfortunately, it just seems to be less and less people going to church, which is a shame. But I don't know, things change, don't they? Things change. People's priorities change. Everyone's busy nowadays, aren't they? You know, I was a bit younger. My stepdad worked, my mum didn't, and you know, all the stuff was done at the, you know, in the week, all the cooking and cleaning, all that. Nowadays, you got the husband and the wife both busy working, and weekends you're all recovering and cleaning and washing and doing a bit of family stuff, and people just don't seem to go to church anymore. Certainly over here. No, kids aren't into religion. They're into, you know, if you make a God app or something like that, something that involves, I don't know, something to do with technology. But I definitely think you need to pimp things up for the kids. Kids don't want to go and sit there with a load of old people singing hymns that they can't understand, and, you know, I don't know. It's just the way I see it over here. I'm not really religious. Kind of wish I was. I like to think that, you know, when I go, I'm going to see all my, you know, my family and friends who've gone over the years. And I'm pretty sure as I get closer to it, closer to the big day, maybe I'm going to be thinking more along the lines of religion. Who knows? Yeah, this is going to go sideways, I think, probably. Like this did, until it got to the EMA and then slowly started working way up before it went pop, goes the weasel out the top. So I think there's more is to come, and I think it's going to take us, by the looks of things, at least till the best part of 6:45, 7 o'clock UK time, which is about an hour away. I think Mac said something about corrections. They last for about, did you say 40 minutes or an hour? I don't know. Trouble is, if you went short here, you didn't even get a point, I don't think. It's just too risky. You went long here. Well, you might have got lucky, I don't know. But no, that's it for the day, I think. So, no trades today, and I'm quite happy about that. I'm quite happy about the fact that I've had the patience to sit here for nearly 3.5 hours and not take anything stupid, because there's been a couple of ones that you may have took. That was a possibility. But it's only really touched it once before, and I think it was risky. You just don't know, do you? It's sort of more of a hit and hope. So I would say that's likely to correct till it gets close to here. May take a dive a bit earlier, and then probably, I certainly think here or here quite likely, but that's going to take time, and I'm not prepared to sit here anymore. Nothing's really happening, and you guys aren't talking at all. You're boring me. So you think you get as bored as I am sat here looking there. But no, I think that's it. The Jesus Longs beckons. Good luck with your Jesus Long. You'll have to let me have a go. Let me know how you get on. So that's it for today. So I hope I haven't bored you or mumbled on too long. So if you carry on trading, good luck. But I think it's going to be it's going to be a quiet day today by the looks of things. So have a great weekend. Stay safe, and I'll be here on Monday. And remember that there's an 80% off at the moment. There's my code there. If you choose to use it, I'd appreciate it. And that runs out, I believe, midnight on Monday. So you have got time Monday to get in there. So it's there if you want it anyway. So look, have a great weekend, guys. Keep safe, and I will see you all just before the market